Hey guys, Godfather of Anxiety here. I just wanted to do a really short video for the people out there who suffer with benign fasciculation syndrome. Just a few things that I do to help me with deal with this condition, the constant muscle twitching. I noticed that there's a huge subsegment here of you guys that tune into the channel that suffer from this condition. So I want to just touch base as far as some things that I do personally that have helped me over the last, let's see, since 2008. So what's that, 17 years that I've been dealing with benign fasciculation syndrome. So guys, this isn't going to be a long video at all. Some of the things that I've noticed that have helped me. First of all, I just want to say what benign fasciculation syndrome, some of the symptoms that I have suffered from over the years with this condition that make it very much not a benign condition. First of all, yes, the muscle twitching is bad, and the muscle twitching can lead to cramps. But since 2020, not only will I have fasciculations or twitching, but I've also, at different periods of time, had some numbness and tingling, which is very scary, right? And I've also had twitching, it can affect any muscle, guys. So if your tongue is twitching, don't freak out. I mean, when my tongue started twitching, and I could literally see it, and everyone else could see that it was twitching, I thought I was on my way out. I thought it was bulbar onset ALS, and I probably had a few months left. And that wasn't the case at all. But so the condition, although it's benign, they have found that there's a bidirectional relationship between anxiety and benign fasciculation syndrome. So either one can increase the other condition. So you guys understand that? So anxiety can make the twitching worse. And boy, do I know that. And the twitching can make your anxiety worse. So because it's a bidirectional relationship, guys, they feed each other. So the things I'm going to tell you are mostly going to help the people whose anxiety hasn't fully latched on to the condition. Because once that happens, guys, you're going to need to treat your anxiety. You've probably developed health anxiety. You may even have a hypersensitive nervous system hypersensitivity. And at that point, you really may need, it could involve medication. It could involve cognitive behavioral therapy. But you're going to have to learn how to regulate and modulate your anxiety condition at that point. So just to give you an idea, am I at that point? Are you doing tons and tons of strength tests and function tests, even after you've been seen by a doctor and they tell you there's nothing to worry about? Do you think you're slurring your words or dropping things, even though no one else has noticed anything? And, do you feel weak? Even though you'll go to the gym and you can lift what you've always lifted. See, that means if that's happening, guys, that means that your anxiety has become immersed fully in the condition, and you probably have health anxiety. So some of the things I'm just going to tell you real quick here are probably not going to help a lot because your mind is so focused on everything. And anecdotally, I'll tell you, one of the times that I knew, there were a few aha moments for me where I had to admit that I had benign fasciculation syndrome, that I did not have a serious neurological condition. And I'll just tell you about a couple of those. And I've mentioned them in other videos, but it's always good to remind people. I was sitting in front of a fan, and I thought my tricep was twitching for an hour. And I'm just thinking, that's the same side the twitching in my back is on. You know, I've had some twitching of my thumb muscle there. You know, this is classic. You know, and this was during the same time that my tongue was twitching. So I'm just thinking, well, this is it, you know. And I realized that it was the sleeve on my shirt rustling from the fan flapping on my arm. My tricep was not twitching. So that's how bad my anxiety and my nervous system hypersensitivity had gotten. And guys, when you get to that point, you're going to have to treat the mental health condition. The twitching, it's going to twitch. The anxiety is going to make it worse. And these tips that I give you, even if they lessen the twitching some, you know, I'm telling you, when my mind is fully engaged on the condition, it's merciless. And you're going to need to treat that. So that was one time. Another time, and I told you, I think I talked about this recently in a video. I was convinced that my shoulders were atrophying, and you know, I took pictures every day. I won't even let you guys know how crazy I am, because trust me, you know, the rabbit hole goes deep. Okay. But, you know, just checking to see if my muscles were atrophying, because you get so you don't believe people. And I went and I had an x-ray done, and, you know, they had to call in the head tech, and I wondered what was going on. And I said, you know, oh my gosh, what's going on? Am I some kind of anatomical anomaly? What's up here? And she says, no, you just have so much muscle that it's hard for us to get a good shot. Guys, that was like, okay, stupid. You thinking they're going to tell you that they see massive muscle atrophy, and instead they tell you that they can't get a good x-ray because of the amount of muscle you have? So that was actually a really good thing for me, because it forced me to confront the fact that anxiety was playing a much larger role than I thought in this. It didn't cure me overnight, but it is good when we engage the logical mind, right? So anyways, guys, that's the thing I'm going to preface this video with. And of course, guys, if you're worried about some type of neurological condition, go see a doctor. Always. If it's gone on for a long time and you haven't lost any strength or function, it's almost for sure that it's a benign condition, you know. And they can do some checks at the doctor's office that they're not 100%, but guys, they really give them a good indication. They can test your reflexes, they can test your strength and range of motion, and if those are good, don't spend your night and your day and waste this precious short time that we have on this earth worrying about a condition that you almost certainly don't have. Okay, so now, the things that I've noticed that have helped, I'm just going to go through a short list here. Avoiding alcohol and sugar. For me, high carbohydrates and alcohol make my muscles twitch like crazy. And I've double checked this. I've removed other factors. I've you know, and whenever I drink alcohol, which I haven't for a while, just, I don't know, when you get into your 50s, the studies on alcohol just really aren't very good. You know, guys, I'm not judging anybody. Even last summer, you know, I was, obviously, I had beer on the weekends and stuff, and I don't believe there's, you know, anything wrong with people having a drink. Obviously, you know, nobody wants to or encourages alcoholism, but for me, I just, you know, I feel like, you know, I'll probably avoid that anyways, especially because it triggers, it makes my twitching way worse, and it makes me more prone to cramps, and so does the sugar. So, those are the first two things, sugar and alcohol. Avoiding those will help you if you're like me. Again, guys, this is for me, so it might not help you. Another thing, get your sleep. Get your sleep. If I get a good night's rest, if I'm, you know, there's so many good sleep trackers out there now, guys. Go ahead and get one. You know, Apple Watches will even tell you if you're showing signs of sleep apnea, you know. And there's all kinds of fitness watches out there now, ones that are a lot cheaper than an Apple Watch. And it's good to monitor your sleep, especially, if you're battling anxiety or benign fasciculation syndrome. Because another thing that you'll realize if you do a deep dive, like a lot of us have, right, is that sleep apnea can cause muscle twitching too, right? We're not supposed to suffocate when we're sleeping. So that's a good thing to monitor anyways. But if I get a good night's sleep, my muscle twitching's less. It doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. But so avoid sugar and alcohol to the extent possible, given your lifestyle. Get a good night's sleep. That's another thing that really helps me. And guys, also monitor your external stress. I notice that when things seem like they're caving in around me, that feeling, right? Like this is out of control, that's out of control, whether it has to do with finances or it has to do with family issues or health issues. Things can start to mount, right? And when I get that feeling and I'm starting to get, the left hook and the right hook and the gut punch, I'll notice that and my twitching starts to get worse. I'll start noticing it in all different muscles instead of, like I say, like right now, if I film my calves, you guys would see I have fairly mild twitching in my calves right now. It's, it's just mild right now. So, I already did that video a week ago or so. Another thing you guys can try is supplementing with magnesium, specifically magnesium glycinate, but you guys can try just a magnesium complex, a good third-party tested magnesium complex. If you guys try that, you'll see, if you're like me, it will improve things. And it especially helps with the cramping. It does help some with the muscle twitching, but it especially helps with the cramping. And I have noticed that it seems like since I've been supplementing with that, and it's been about 3.5 months now, it seems like my twitching has gone back to the pre-2020 twitching, which is really good because, that was essentially just my calves and then occasionally, my eyelids, guys, my face, maybe some stuff in my back and shoulders occasionally. So you can try the magnesium supplement. And another thing, and this is the last one I'll mention, get your exercise. I know that seems weird because I know some people's twitching gets worse when they exercise, but mine doesn't. When I exercise, it seems like when you tire the muscle out, at least for me, and this isn't 100% because there'd be times when I get back from work and my calves are twitching up a storm. But, like I would go for a long bike ride and I'd look at my calves and they twitch less. So I think sometimes exercising the muscle fatigues it and it makes it so that the twitching slows down. So those are just some tips that I've learned that have helped me at least lessen it a little. And guys, do not waste your time focusing on it. If you guys can tell me something good that you can accomplish from focusing on the fact that you have a muscle twitching, let me know. Leave it in the comments. You're not going to tell me anything. There's not going to be anything that you're going to tell me that's a positive by focusing on the fact that you have muscle twitches. Guys, if you start to lose strength or function, it doesn't mean that you're dying. It doesn't mean you have ALS. There are a lot of neurological conditions that are not death sentences that you could have, so you should see a doctor. But if you're not losing strength or function, come on, this is very prevalent. It's more prevalent than they say. They still say it's rare, but I know I have 2 other siblings that experience pretty consistent muscle twitching. And they are not, they do not have a severe neurological condition or anything like that. So I know this is another one of those, seems to be a modern phenomenon. I'm sure stress is a major component here because I think it interferes with the, the electrical impulses firing in your brain and how they're received. But, you know, I'm not a doctor. I haven't done a deep dive. We just know that there's a bidirectional relationship between benign fasciculation syndrome and anxiety. So, guys, try those tips out. Regulate your stress, get your exercise, get your sleep. And again, don't let a muscle twitch rob you of your life. Don't let it send you into the tailspin of anxiety and where it becomes full-blown health anxiety. And then at that point, it runs your life, it ruins your life, and it robs you of time that you can't get back. So, all right, guys, that's about all I wanted to say. Thanks so much for the engagement with the channel. I'm over 700 subscribers. I really appreciate it. If you guys know anybody who's dealing with benign fasciculation syndrome or any of the anxiety disorders, you know, whether it's panic disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, social anxiety disorder, whatever it is, have them take a look at the channel. There's a lot of different videos that I think will provide some tips and at least some insight so that you guys know what you're dealing with. You don't think you're going crazy or you know, don't think that you're alone in having, you know, in dealing with these issues. So thanks so much, guys. And until my next video, take care.